Welcome to Make Your Card Pages Pretty, please. Hi, I'm Eric, and one of the things that I have seen way too often are card pages where it looks like the fields are just shoveled in there and no attention has been made to make the card pages pretty. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Take this screen. Here is a customer card, and it's a fully working customer card screen. We can go in and say incorporate it here, and it works. But the page itself, it's really just a bunch of fields thrown in on a page, perhaps using one of the automated generators that will you select a bunch of fields and then you get a page. And I've seen this way too often. I've seen this and it looks like it's just, there's room for improvement. And in this video, I'm gonna take a look at how to actually make a page like this look nice. And let's first check the source code for this one. So here is the source code, so we can see there's a let me actually make it big so you guys can see it. It's a page type equal card source date table, and we got area content, and then we got a bunch of fields. And it looks like kind of the guy who made this, he started with the number and the name and the address and the city and the county. That's the state or region, depending on, or province, we'll call it in Canada, and then country, and then kind of the order just get more and more random as it progresses down there. And at some point, well, the postal code is all the way down here and stuff like that. So how can we improve it? Because if we take a look at this, and then let's head over to the customer table for just a second. See, and let's even forget about the fact boxes at this point. We have groupings. You can see if I click general, closes down, and we get the name up here, and we can collapse this one and we get something else. So there's nice grouping, there's fields that show up here, and when I'm here I can say show more, and I get like IC partner code. Maybe that's not important for me, so unless I really need it to, so I can control that with the show more, show less. So that's a pretty card page. It's actually, and from a layout perspective, there's two columns. It just, it looks inviting. And compare this to this thing. There's no comparison. This is just ugly. So how do we make a card page look pretty? Well, the first thing we have to talk about are how to approach layouts. So if we go in here and look, we can do a lot of fancy things here. You can see there's something with the, we can do something with fix, and we can do a grid, and there's some stuff we can do in here. I tend to avoid that. The only thing I try to use, and it seems that that's what Microsoft is also doing in the base app, is that I use the group. So what is a group? Well, a group is what we have. If we go back to this guy, general, address and contact, invoicing, payments, shipping, statistic, those are groups. So we could create a group called general here, and then we need to, let's put a couple fields in it, number and name. How about putting that in here? Let's see how it goes. So I'll deploy this one. let's see how this looks. If you notice that the page is starting in none or read only and not editable, that's because when you run a page through the URL, then that's how it goes. So we can just click the edit one. So let's talk about what happened here. We can see we got a group called general. This is actually not best case, but we got the two fields in it, and we suddenly have two columns, which look very weird when the rest of the page is one column. So clearly we need to continue this. So general here is kind of the, so that was what we wrote here, but maybe I was too nice, and maybe I want to say gen group here, for instance, so I know that this is a group. Well, now suddenly the caption is not nice. You'll see in a second. 1 2 second, gen group. So what we need to do in a group to make it pretty is to supply a caption. Then one thing that you might think, okay, we got a group. Now the next thing, let's actually add the name in here. Oh, one thing, I forgot one thing. So if we look at this and then we collapse this guy, nothing shows up here. And for, let's say we want the name and the number to show up here, then we need to use the property called importance. And importance has 3 options. And the one we are standard is the same as not doing anything. The one we are after right now is promoted. So we can say that number and name are promoted. I'll deploy again. And we'll already collapsed, so we can see that then the number and the name suddenly are promoted. So when they are collapsed, we can still see the information. It's kind of how the fast tabs used to work in the old Windows client. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so let's say that we also want an address box. So we could try to do an address group here, and we remember to add an address. And then let's grab some address fields, an address group. So we don't have a line, and then we'll grab address 2, and the city. We want the county and the country up here. So I'm just copy pasting, and then there was something down here, the postcode. Let's put that. So in Canada, we do city, province, postal code. In Denmark, it's postal code, city. There's no province in Denmark, so that's just. But I'll do the Canadian version here. So I will do postal code after city. Okay, so maybe you notice that now I put a group in a group. So let's see how that looks. And you see, just at the moment where it renders it, the web client did cache the old layout. So it starts by showing the old layout, and then it figures out, hey, layout has changed. So now we have to re-render. So that's why it starts by showing the old one, and then it switches to the new one. Okay, so now you see that a group inside a group is not a collapsible thing. Then we kind of get something that looks like this. So it becomes a new column in this case with just a simple title above it and the fields. I tend to avoid this. So what I prefer to do is actually go. No, let's try to do one thing. If I hit the sign here, so here's a trick. And what I'm talking about is how does this look on the other client? So sometimes you can get very focused and just make sure that it looks pretty on a 32-inch high-res monitor with plenty of space, and the next day your users are trying to access this from a cell phone. So the trick here is to use not to actually to design, but you can use the designer to take a look and see how will this actually present itself on the different devices. And in this case, it's actually not bad. So maybe we want to go with that group in a group here. So we have the address. Otherwise, we can also, grab the address group and put it out after the general group. But it's always a good idea that when you're actually designing pages, once in a while, if it's a page with a lot of fields and stuff like that, look at how it will present itself on the tablet and the phone, because if your users are actually using that, then you need to make sure that it makes sense. And of course, this one, as soon as we're off the address thing, then it's just a list of fields. But let's continue for a bit here. So we'll keep the address up here for now. So that's certainly an option. Then the next field we have to deal with in this case is the name to field. And maybe name to is not that important. So what we can do here is that we can say importance equal additional. So as soon as a field is designated additional, as soon as there's at least one field in a group that is labeled additional, you'll see that now we got the show more functionality turned on. So show more, that will give us the name to field. Show less, it goes away again. So that's one way of, so what I usually do is that I have 3 groups of fields. Whenever I design a cart page, I have 3 groups of fields in mind. I have the fields that are necessary, the ones that I always want to show. Then I have fields that are like the additional mark that could be once in a while a user needs to access them. And then there are fields that maybe only one user need. And let's grab something. We could do currency code, because maybe this is for a client that never does anything with currencies. So we'll just grab currency code and put up here in general right after name to. But since this field nobody's ever going to use that, we're going to go with visible equal false on this one. So it's not even unimportant enough to be labeled additional. We can do show more and we only get name. But if that user, single user that really needs that field, that user can now go to personalization and say, hey, I want to add the currency code field to the screen because I added on page but made it non-visible. So now that one is ready for that specific user to add to their screen. Again, a way to avoid cluttering up the UI with way too many fields. So I always think in those three groups: fields that everybody needs to see, fields that everybody needs to see once in a while, and fields that only very, very few users see. I'm just gonna clear this out. Done. And another advantage of the non-visible fields are that if the page is exposed as a web service, then that field is available in the web service, even though it's not visible on the screen. So that's a good way of making those available. So what I would do to continue, let's just on a page like this. It's okay. Let's say we now need a group for posting group and caption equal posting setup. And there might be customer discount, posting group, price group. I don't even remember why I added the GLN. So maybe that's one of the visible equal false fields. Dimensions are certainly also valid in posting, so we'll add those to posting. Filter fields, dimension, global dimension 2 filter are used for flow filters, but flow filters does not work on a cart page, so we don't need that. So I might as well get rid of that. It has no function on the screen. Mobile phone, that should probably go up to general, if we can figure that out. And maybe we should just put that currency code down into posting, just for so payment method, payment terms also goes into posting. Salesperson responsibility center should probably go up to the general one. And what's the last one? Those are tax area and tax liable. We will put those in posting. So in this case, we're just gonna end up with 2 groups, but it's not really a video about creating groups. It's more video about how to do this. Let's see if this looks pretty or not. So now we got a general, we got posting. Nothing is promoted in posting. So at this point, when I collapse posting, I don't see anything. When I collapse this one, I get the name, but maybe we would want to, when working on making this pretty, we'll make sure that, you know, all groups has promoted fields, and of course, still the order in the group is sort of random in this case. When we have a group called posting setup, I, as a user, would expect to see, like, the first one would perhaps be the customer posting group, and then the general business posting group, or stuff like that. So the more important fields first, and then perhaps tax information, and then we get to the dimensions and method code and stuff like that. But your mileage may vary in this case. Now looking at it, I'm still not convinced that I'm not sure I would actually go in this case with the single address in here. I think if we had a let me show you. So if we went in here and then we created a group called name, and we'll do caption equal name group, and we'll include a bunch of fields in that. And deploy again. And we need to render. So now you can see now there's kind of symmetry in the general group. It has a name caption and an address caption, and it's rendered nicely. If I couldn't get something like that with the grouping group, I think I would have preferred to get the address out as its own main group here. But again, there's options. But at this point, this page is way more nice than the one we started with. I don't think, maybe we still have it here. Oh, there's some early rendering of it. I don't think I can get back to this one without breaking. Oh, there we are. So that was where we started. This is where we're at. So I call that improvement. Anyway, that's kind of the it for this video. So I hope this was an inspiration to make sure that your cart pages are nice looking, your users will enjoy it, and if I ever get to see it, I will also be enjoyed. Until next time, have a lot of fun with cart pages, and I'll see you again in the next video.